Hello viewers, we have been talking about the various mechanisms which may be used to repair the DNA molecule, the damages in the DNA molecule that may be caused because of endogenous factors or exogenous factors. And exogenous factors, they also include various mutagens. So in this video of ours, we are going to understand another mechanism that is referred to as the base excision repair mechanism of DNA repair. Now, we all understand the structure of a DNA molecule, which is the polynucleotide sequence, and each nucleotide has got a sugar moiety to which is attached the phosphate group at the 5 carbon, and at the carbon number 1, that is 1 prime, we have got the nitrogen base. Now this nitrogen base is attached to this phosphate sugar group or the nucleoside with the help of a N-glycosyl bond. Now in this method of repair, we will understand how the defective base or the damaged base is removed, because as the name suggests, it is the base excision repair. So we'll be concerned about the nitrogen base. So let us first start with this single base damage site that is generated in the single strand of DNA molecule. And as we have seen in our previous video on DNA damage, this single base damage, it may be caused because of various reasons. It may be caused by the oxidation of this nitrogen base or some alkylation of the nitrogen base. It may distort the basic structure of the DNA molecule, or hydrolytic deamination of the nitrogen base may take place. And because of this hydrolytic deamination, we know that cytosine, it may convert to uracil, or the adenine, it may form the hypoxanthine, and guanine, it may form xanthine. And these deaminated nucleotides that are produced, they basically have different pairing properties. So when the DNA is replicated, the base pair, the GC base pair in case of cytosine is replaced by the AT base pair, and so on. So that causes damage to the DNA molecule. So it is better to correct it or to repair this damage caused at this very point. So this type of base damage sites, they are identified, they are detected by an enzyme, that is the DNA glycosylase enzyme. And the basic property of this, of the basic activity of this DNA glycosylase, is that it cleaves the N-glycosyl bond, the bond that is present between the nitrogen base and the sugar at the 1 prime site of the deoxyribose sugar in a nucleotide. So this DNA glycosylase now, it may be of two types. One is the monofunctional DNA glycosylase, which has got this basic activity in which it replaces or it cuts out the base. And the other thing is that this DNA glycosylase, it may be bifunctional. Apart from breaking up the N-glycosyl bond or the cleaving the N-glycosyl bond, it will also cause a nick in the DNA molecule, that is in the DNA backbone. It also has got the lyase activity. So because of its basic activity of glycolyase, the base is removed and the backbone, it remains intact. This results in the formation of a reduced, or we may say oxidized AP site. AP, it stands for apurinic or apyrimidinic. That is a basic site. Now, such abasic sites, they may also be generated because of some mutagen of exogenous or endogenous origin. So, anywhere where this abasic site is present, this site is detected by the second enzyme, that is the AP endonuclease enzyme. Apurinic, if this involved nitrogen base is purine, and apyrimidinic if it is an pyrimidine. So this AP endonuclease, it recognizes this damaged DNA, and then after it removes removes the phosphodiester bond present towards the 5' site of this uh, abasic site, and a nick is produced at this 5' site. Now this nick, it has got the free hydroxyl group at the 3' carbon of the nucleotide present over here. And we know that DNA polymerase, the enzyme responsible for adding a nucleotide to a growing DNA strand, it needs a free hydroxyl group. That is the basic, the primary requisite of a polymerase, of a DNA polymerase enzyme. So what happens is, this occurrence or this availability of free hydroxyl group at the 3' end is recognized by an DNA polymerase, that is the DNA polymerase beta. And because of its polymerase activity, it adds the nucleotide according to the nucleotide available on the opposite strand, because this second strand of DNA is intact. So the complementary base is added over here, and this DNA polymerase beta, it may contribute to enzymatic activity. One is the DNA synthesis, that is addition of the proper nucleotide, making use of the availability of free hydroxyl group at the 3' end. And the other is the lyase activity. It just breaks this stretch of backbone, and what we are left with is the nick that was initially present on the 3' site of this abasic site, and now it has shifted to the 5' site because of the this DNA synthesis or activity of DNA polymerase beta. And now this nick is detected and recognized by another enzyme, that is ligase, and ligase we know is responsible for the formation of phosphodiester bond. So a proper phosphodiester bond is formed, and we have got the damage, the single base damage that was caused because of varied reasons. It has been repaired. This is the short pair or one nucleotide patch repair mechanism of base excision repair. Now, the other pathway, that is the long patch repair pathway, it also initiates by this occurrence of presence of the single base damage site. And this site, as usual, is recognized by DNA glycosylase enzyme, which cleaves the N-glycosyl bond present between the nitrogen base and the sugar, the 1' end of the deoxyribose sugar. But here the DNA glycosylase that is involved in this type of pathway is the bifunctional path, DNA glycosylase. It has got the two activities, the glycosylase activity and the lyase activity. So because of its glycosylase activity, it will remove the damaged base. And this a basic site is recognized by the AP endonuclease. Now, similar thing happened during the short pair repair pathway too. This AP endonuclease, it will form a generator nick. It will break the phosphodiester bond towards the 5' end of this AP site, and this presence of this nick, it is acted upon by the polymerase, the DNA polymerase, which will use this 3' hydroxyl group available over here and will add various nucleotides. Now this DNA glycosylase that is involved over here, it has got another activity too, and that is the lyase activity. Now, because of this lyase activity, this DNA glycosylase, it will remove a stretch of your DNA backbone that may involve other nucleotides too. And this DNA polymerase, instead of just forming a single nucleotide, it forms a stretch of 2 to 10 nucleotides, replacing the original DNA strand that was available over here. And this flap, it is removed by the activity of this DNA glycosylase. Then the flap endonuclease, again we need a endonuclease to cut the phosphodiester bond. So another enzyme is involved in this long patch repair pathway, that is the flap endonuclease enzyme. And this flap endonuclease enzyme that is involved, it involves the activity of this proliferating cell nuclear antigen for loading these various polymerase, that is the polymerase delta to be specific. So with the help of this pCNA and this flap endonuclease, the phosphodiester bond towards this site is also cleaved, and this results in the formation of a stretch of nucleotide, a long patch of nucleotides that may range from 2 to 10 nucleotides. So this time the nick that was generated near the basic site, it has been delocated, or it has been transferred 2 to 10 base pair patch ahead, and after that the ligase enzyme, it gets activated, and this damage that was caused is repaired by this pathway, that is the long patch repair pathway of base excision repair mechanism. So in the next video, we will understand what happens if the entire nucleotide, instead of only the nitrogen base, the entire nucleotide is excised. That is, we'll be talking about the nucleotide excision repair mechanism of your DNA damage repair.